Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. You know I'm real because I have a graphic that moves behind me. That's how you know this is a real show. Don't pay attention to the superhero shirt that's probably a size too small. It's for real, guys. I know you're used to watching real news and Brian Williams leaning in with his shoulder and, oh, I'm going to lie to you for 7 or 8 figures. And Rachel Maddow, oh, she does segments about Russia that are sponsored by Boeing. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with that. Well, our good friend Steve Mnuchin, boy, Trump and his team are so fighting for the working person, aren't they? Aren't they great? Aren't they great? You know that extra $600 that most of us have been getting with unemployment on top of the regular unemployment? That's federally funded unemployment money. Here's what Steve Mnuchin thinks about it, folks. He is fantastic. He said that on This Week on ABC. This was on Twitter. This is, let's just...
Well, there was a $600 offer for 1 week. I'm not going to make public comments, but Mark Meadows and I have made 3 or 4 different offers that deal with the enhanced unemployment. I think, as you said, Steny Hoyer and others understand that unemployment is supposed to be wage replacement, so it should be tied to some percentage of wages. The fact that we had a flat number was only an issue of an emergency where we had 30-year-old computer systems. So I think on the concept, we absolutely agree on enhanced unemployment. We want to fix the issue where in some cases people are overpaid, and we want to make sure there's the right incentives. But again, let me just emphasize, we put on the table a proposal. Let's extend it for 1 week at the same rate while we negotiate so we don't hurt the American public.
So you do think it is a disincentive to find a job if you have that extra $600?
There's no question in certain cases where we're paying people more to work, stay home than to work. That's created issues in the entire economy. But let me just say, you have to look at all these things.
I want to interrupt you there for just 1 second. It's not all the evidence. A Yale study from this month refutes that, saying many economists who have studied the benefits said that so far they don't see any evidence in labor market data that the payments are affecting the rate at which people are returning to work during the pandemic.
Well, let me just say I went to Yale. I agree on certain things. I don't always agree. There's a Chicago study that goes through all the people that are overpaid. But let's just face it. We know factually, okay, there are cases where people are overpaid. There are cases where people are underpaid. The issue is we need to come up with an agreement to extend this. We need to get kids into school. And we're going to work every day until we reach a reasonable agreement that's good for the American public.
God. People are getting overpaid. This guy, he's worried about people getting overpaid. He's worried about people getting overpaid. This guy. There's him and his wife. I'm sure she loves him. This guy, who's worth tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, is worried you might be getting overpaid by a couple $100. Oh, really? How come there isn't all this hand-wringing and this outrage over the $4.25 trillion in the CARES Act that was given to Wall Street? Were they overpaid? Was the banking industry overpaid in this CARES Act? Were they overpaid by Obama and Bush during the last housing crisis? This is what they think. This is Steve Mnuchin, who used to run One West Bank, right? One West Bank had clear mortgage fraud. One West Bank, hundreds of thousands of people's homes in California. He donated to Kamala Harris's Attorney General campaign. She then became Attorney General and didn't prosecute him. She had the evidence to put him in prison and didn't. He donated again. Now he's a Republican. Remember, he donated to Democrat Kamala Harris's senatorial campaign. She won, and she voted to approve him to be Secretary of Treasury. This is the Trump and the Republican administration. But make no mistake, the Democrats don't give a shit about you either. These are these filthy two parties that don't care about you. And they're so bent out of shape over maybe somebody getting a couple extra $100 every month. And these crimes, this is a crime. He's at the Treasury, he's holding up money. And I use it, obviously this is just symbolic, but he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Nancy Pelosi's worth $100 million. Mr. McConnell's worth millions of dollars. That's a federal crime. And it's a disincentive for people to go back to work. Which people? Whole industries have been wiped out. I mean, the comedy club, it's done. I know clubs that have closed, that have flat out closed. What are you talking about? It's unbelievable. Are you aware of this, Steve? These are all of the percentage of renter households who are facing eviction. Okay? This is from the first week in July 2nd. So this is a month old. Renter households unable to pay rent and at risk of eviction as a share of total renter households in each state. The lowest percentage is Vermont at 22%. Most of them, though, are in the high and mid 30s. The darker the blue, the bigger the percentage, right? Illinois, 42%, West Virginia, 59%, Kentucky, 48%, Tennessee, 58%, Missouri, 55%, Louisiana, 50%, Oklahoma, 42%. This is Trump's base, by the way. I just want Trump's base. Red state land is facing the worst problem. The worst problem. This is Trump's base in here. Kentucky, Missouri, West Virginia, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, all in the high 40s or 50 percentile. Florida, 51%. California, 37%. Utah, 29%. The 20s are the lowest you're going to find. But it's a disincentive. People they don't want to work. You're kidding me. 28 million foreclosures are hanging in the balance. And this asshole doesn't want to give you an extra $600 a week. They've shut down businesses. You can't work. You can't do anything. Then what? Go back to work. Risk getting COVID. And then his dumb boss is like, "Oh, we need to wear masks." And people don't want to wear masks. What? Japan put everybody to work. Japan hasn't shut down their economy. Everyone wears a mask everywhere. They clean everything. The subways, people are going to work. I talked to my friend in Tokyo. She's like, her husband takes the train every day to work. Everyone wears a mask. They have 2.7% unemployment. We have handled this so poorly at every level. Trump and they're complete idiots. And so are the Democrats. Nobody gives a shit. Both parties just signed off on this CARES Act, and the Democrats started acting like, oh, it's just the big mean Republicans. But the Democrats don't want to give you Medicare for all either. The Republicans don't, clearly. They don't want to give you Medicare for all. They don't want to give you a $2,000 to $3,000 a month UBI, which is what we all should be getting. And they want to get rid of this $600. Okay. Thanks, Steve. I mean, you're doing good stuff, Steve. Really, really good stuff. You know, he's not tone deaf at all. You know, the like first rounds of American Idol where they're not even on the stage, they're just in that like conference room, and they always just show you the clips of the people who are just like, you know, I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky, and everyone's just sitting there like doing that. That's how tone deaf Steve Mnuchin is. I think it's a disincentive. A guy worth hundreds of millions of dollars is telling you it's a disincentive. He's telling you he doesn't want you to have that $600. He's telling you he thinks it makes you lazy and you don't want to work. Okay, Trump's base. Wyoming, 44%. Iowa, Indiana, 48, 44%. This is Trump's base now. This is Trump's base. South Dakota, big red state, 42%. Okay. Plenty of blue states are in crappy numbers too. When are Americans who still think the other party is worse, when are they going to wake up? When are these MAGA hat wearing people going to wake up? When are the vote any blue will do crowd? When are they going to wake up? When are you going to, I know when you're going to wake up, when the sheriff comes and kicks you out of your house. Because if you can't afford rent, they're going to kick you out of your house. And they're not going to care if you got a, Obama sticker on your Prius or an American Eagle on your pickup truck. They're not going to give a shit, man. You're just going to be out on the street. Both parties are a part of this. Kamala Harris could have arrested this guy, didn't. Because both parties were part of the last mortgage fraud. And both parties are part of this fraud. That's why they're giving out a lot of these loans. Some of the EIDL loans are forgivable. Some of them aren't. There's this 3.75%. They offered me one of those. They offered me a loan. I want you to be aware of this. The EIDL loan, not the first one that was up to, that was $1,000 per employee that they came out in March or April. Those, my understanding, those are grants. Those are forgivable. The new ones they've been offering for the last month. Anything over $25,000, the SBA, Small Business Administration, which is part of the federal government, your business is collateral. So they're going to put a lien on your business if you can't pay that back. It's a 30-year loan at 3.75%. You have 30 years to pay it off. Low payments of $100 some a month, so that's very affordable. Maybe that works for your business, and maybe you need it. Maybe you're approved. I know someone who was approved for like $100,000. They got a independent loan, or they need it. They had a business that was mainly a retail business, and they're scrambling. But they read the fine print. So just so you know, any dollar over $25,000, if you can't pay it back, they can come seize your business. I said this from day one of the CARES Act. Read the fine print. Be careful, because this is a scam. They don't want to help the American people. They want people to foreclose on their businesses, on their homes, because they're going to come snatch them up. These assholes are going to come snatch them up. Because he's funded by Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has been in every presidential cabinet since Reagan. The Republicans and Democrats don't give a shit about working class people. The Republicans are just a little better at masking it. I hope everybody wakes up. Either way, if you haven't woken up, you will. I don't wish this on anybody. It's awful. I lost my home to foreclosure 10 years ago. It is brutal. I hope people can stay in their homes, and if they don't, I hope they wake up to the fact that there aren't two parties in this country. There's two classes. There's the ruling class, the 1%, and everybody else. People that are outraged at these federal troops snatching people up in Portland, and you absolutely should be. It's horrific. But some of them are just like, oh, it's only Trump. No. Obama signed the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, in December of 2011 that allowed this to happen. Federal troops were used during Occupy Wall Street. That was Obama's times. There was federal troops used at Standing Rock. There was federal troops used in Baltimore after Freddie Gray was murdered by the Baltimore Police Department. Democratic mayor in Baltimore. Democratic mayor in Portland right now. Democratic mayor in Seattle right now. Don't think your party's going to save you and the other party's bad. This is everybody. Everybody is going to be affected by this. 28 million evictions. That's almost 10% of the population, but it's going to be more because evictions have multiple people living in their homes. You're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 40% of the population getting evicted. I don't know if Steve Mnuchin's ready for 60 to 100 million people to come after him. But they will. Thanks for watching the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Hey everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.